This video is going to be all about the headwear that is going to be popular for fall/winter 2025-2026. If you love a headdress, then make sure to keep on watching if you don't. But you might as well watch to see what you might experiment with. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Design or on Design. Today, as I mentioned, we are talking about hats. I love hats, so this is the reason for a completely separate video for this amazing accessories that definitely makes a statement. But first, a little something from our sponsor. As I am in my 30s now, I started seeing little fine lines on my forehead. FOREO reached out to me and offered me to send their latest product, the FAQ 202. There's been so much progress into the LED benefits for skincare, and this mask is so lightweight. You can do whatever you want because of the open eye design. And it's battery powered, so you can do all that you need, like for instance, edit videos while taking care of your skin. And there are several settings that target whatever your skin problems may be. It has the 8 different LED wavelengths. Red diminishes signs of aging on skin. Blue reduces blemishes and oiliness, perfect for acne-prone skin. Green brightens dullness and even skin tone. Orange revitalizes for healthy glow. Purple targets inflammation and fine lines. Cyan calms and relieves stressed skin. Yellow reduces redness and soothes skin. NIR improves fine lines, sunspots, wrinkles, and sagging. And you can even target a few different problems in single use through the use of their app, where it cycles through the colors that you need to tackle your particular issue. Make sure to keep watching because I will be sharing my results in a few videos from now. But so far, I love it. The design is amazing. It's made out of the Flexi Fit silicone that molds to your face like a second skin, and it optimizes the light reflection so you can get light disperse evenly throughout the skin. FOREO is celebrating its birthday and is offering you amazing deals right now. So click on the link provided in the description below and use my coupon code MMD35 to get an extra 35% off on almost all FOREO products, including those already discounted. Enjoy up to 50% off with their birthday offers. So with any further ado, let's get into it. And we'll start with a wide brim hat. In many shows, we have a more kind of a mysterious, almost fedora, but more with a wider brim hat. Like here in Alexander McQueen, it's a little bit slanted to one side, very classical, and then it just brings me into the mobster times. At least that is what it speaks to me. We also see Chanel almost kind of having a sun hat, but for fall winter. Very interesting. In a few of their outfits, it was very the same, but different colors basically. I feel like this is taking that bucket hat trend, but making it a little bit more ladylike for them for sure. We also see a little bit of a wider brim, almost like going to see the horse races, with a little bit more interest of like different layers, maybe a little tulle on top as well. We also see a lot of cowboy hats in D-squared, but not only this, we see them layered with caps. You can see that the first layer is a cap and then they have a cowboy hat on top. All right, this is interesting for sure, but maybe think about this kind of layering a scarf with a little hat, something like that, because that looks a little bit too crazy in my opinion. But you know what, you guys, whenever I say something looks crazy, I just go and do it anyways. Like here you can see a scarf and a cowboy hat. We also see Moschino with more of that Western flared hat. Louis Vuitton had more of that once again, so some kind of a mix between a bucket bucket hat, and in this time like almost a fedora with like a top center crease there, but having the brim go down. We also see this in undercover, more of a regular but a kind of a medium brim wide hat. Some of the hats had a little bit of an accessory on the side, like maybe little pins or maybe a little feather. Valentino, again, almost like the Alexander McQueen, but the rim is once again a little bit shorter. It does have the sloop to one side more than just what we have seen before of having really straight brim across. Something of a fedora for sure. FOREO also had the fedora type hat paired with maybe some opera gloves and very interesting dresses. Very ladylike, almost like the Chanel show, but also pairing it with a scarf underneath. I love that pairing. I know a few years back, the wider the brim, the better, but now it's a little bit on the medium side, but I do prefer the drama of a large brim, let me tell you. And not all the hats were really sturdy. There were some wider brims that had almost like a floppy effect. Like here in Louis Vuitton, they put the brim up almost like it's a really oversized bucket hat, and then in order to see, they just flip the brim upwards. Lots and lots of these here you can see, sometimes paired with dresses in the same print, sometimes with the coat in the same texture, sometimes just completely monochromatic outfit, and here again with the scarf on the bottom. I just love how it looks, and it adds additional little layer for you to keep your ears warm during those colder months and to just get your hair out of the way as well. Here in Michael Kors, they have the fur moments, also very floppy kind of a situation. Vaquera here with a wider brim, but it is definitely bouncing. It does not hold its shape as much, and pretty cool. Y3 with a collaboration with Adidas on a sportier level. I feel like this one is really cool as well, and it definitely protects you from the elements. It protects you from the rain and can just pour down. It's like almost wearing like an umbrella, but you know, hands-free umbrella. We see here more of the different layers in the Moschino show. It's really cool. That won't protect you from rain though. Next one up is the Ushanka, or a Russian trapper hat. Yes, we see quite a lot of it. The point of it is that it has ear covering, so you can either wear it down covering your ears, or you can pin those ears up and then it's just going to be a huge fur monstrosity on your head. And especially here, the bigger the better. Retro is just having this enormous, like oversized, oh my gosh, I think you can put a baby inside and it will be all warm. Make it into a bag even. It's enormous, and compared with the contrast of more feminine, lighter dressing, it is pretty out there. And T squared, once again repeating these humongous oversized hats in puffer moment as well. We also see this in Dolce & Gabbana, a little bit less. I'm not sure if it is still a Ushanka or not, but Acne Studios here with a lighter version but exaggerated ears, and you can always use those ears and cover your neck up. That will be pretty warm and cozy. I like it. We also see this in Louis Vuitton, more of a smaller knit kind of a hat with the ears covered. Also a more sportier one if you want to go hiking. And once again here in Dolce & Gabbana, more of a fur moment. I'm not quite sure if it does have those ears or not, but there's quite a lot of fur hats like that in Dolce & Gabbana show. Sometimes a little bit on the oversized and sometimes a little bit shorter furs. Not sure if it's real or not though, so you gotta figure it out on your own. But considering the fact that in previous videos I did mention the fact that the furs are coming back with the fur trims and the fur coats themselves, this is a smaller accessory that is a little bit more manageable to get into it. And here, really interesting combination of a cap. with the Ushanka. All right, next one up is the Beanie. Okay, so we are gradually going from a very tiny, small little beanies that we've seen people rocking back in a hipster era, the millennial time, and we are seeing it gradually becoming larger and larger throughout the shows that I'm showing you guys. Biggest one that was present on here was the Dolce & Gabbana, and then they just went crazy with it, pairing this beanie with a variety of outfits, with dresses, of course more of a outerwear trend, more of a street style trend, and it being just like standing on your head. Yeah, pretty cool. I quite like it, the styling of it all. Very punk, very rock and roll, very like a biker meets a teenager kind of vibe. Pairing it sometimes with something sheer, something see-through, pairing with furs, pairing it with the more of a heavier biker boot. That balances the outfit, the big hat and the more heavier biker boots. Sometimes with oversized jackets, that also balances it out well. With just a see-through bralette, I don't think that's really realistic for us in the fall winter season, but here it is. Yeah, graphic tees with animal print, denim, studded things, get the idea. Anyways, all right, I can go on and on with the Dolce & Gabbana, but let's just skip a few of these and let's head into a different show. Fendi, on the other hand, had really oversized hats, beanies that worked with more feminine looks, maybe more put together, more tailored outfits. And here we go. We came into the beret situation. Off-white, more of the military-inspired berets where they come up on one side and they even have pockets, you guys. They are utilitarian. You can put things in there, maybe your credit card. Maybe don't put your phone there because it will just give you a brain tumor or something. I quite like it. It's pretty cool. Maybe just, don't put anything too heavy inside because then it will just drag the beret down to the other side and it's not gonna look great. We also see more feminine beret, like in Altuzara, almost going into like, I don't know, like a prehistoric vibes. I'm not the biggest fan. It just looks like a really weird hat. But I love weird hats, so maybe I'll grow to love it. And Louis Vuitton had a little bit of a side cap situation. Anyways, next one up is more of a decorative hat. So you can see here in Altuzara, they have the chains make up a little beanie, I guess. We also see this in D squared with more of a decorated, almost like a veil. We also see this in Dress Van Noten. They had like a wig caps and layered them. I'm not sure if it's just a styling choice for the entire show because like most of their appearances had these, but then they have like even a fishnet stocking on top. Yeah, wonder if they actually going to sell it or if it was a styling choice to get like all the hair out of the way so it won't distract from the more sharp tailoring of the show or from the knits. All right, let's talk about the scarves. As you have seen me already, I just mentioned it, lots of other hats were worn with scarves and they were also worn as almost like a turban or a hat that looks like a turban, like here in Louis Vuitton, or just a turban style hat like in Moschino. The previous season they actually had a hat that looked like a turban, so you can just put it on. It's already a one piece. All right, is this cultural appropriation? I don't know. Honestly, I don't. But they were regular headscarves like here in Burberry. You can definitely put this into your everyday wear. It is great, depending of course on the material that is made out of. For fall or winter, maybe something with wool just to create that extra buffer from the elements. It keeps your everything warm. You can wrap around your neck as well. It will keep you warm. And you can see here they use the scarves as a little bit of an accent print. Fitico here, more of a heavier, maybe knitted headscarves. I quite like this idea as well. Also creates more of a thicker barrier, and especially if it's knitted, it just creates that air bubble around you. And here we go. We once again have a hat paired with a scarf. Really love this idea and I'm totally going to wear it like that. In Vivetta, they even had almost like a sleeve situation. You can see it looks like it's a sweater just wrapped around the head, but it's not. It's a headpiece. And here more of like rigid one, like a babushka, like really a nesting doll situation, creating that silhouette. Love it. And Gucci had the cap with the scarf. We've seen this a lot in the street style, but I really like how they paired it with more ladylike items. All right, next one up is just a cap. Really great transition from the scarves with a hat to a cap. Okay, so of course the trucker hats are still here. You can see here with the D squared variety of them on the runways. They definitely are a staple, and I feel like everybody has them in your closet. Just think about the color combinations. It could be either a accent of a color, or it could be just a grounding item that pairs everything well together, like here. Louis Vuitton here with a little bit more of an accent of the print, or the leather coming to the hat as well. MSGM had a bunch of fur caps. This is hilarious. I'm not sure how they're helping you, but it's definitely a statement making piece. Off-White had several hoods that had the visor. This is pretty good, especially it protects you from the rain hitting your face. I love that idea. And then there are just regular caps with a hood on top. Anyways, let's get into the next trend, and it is like a biker hat. Another version of a cap. As you can see here, it's a little, there's some flat caps, there's some newsboy caps, more like a biker cap as well. Most of them were in the leathers, and the leather is great to protect your hair from the rain, from the weather. Louis Vuitton here with more of a voluminous newsboy cap or a baker cap. Yeah, still with the visor protecting your eyes from the rain, from the wind, even from the snow if it may come, but your ears will be cold. Here is in Valentino another kind of a combination of that on top of a balaclava. Quite like that. Katie here with, once again, more of these, but this time I feel like they're made out of felt or wool because they're not as shiny as other ones were, and it's really hard to tell with that lighting, honestly. All right, little bonnets. I feel like these are so cool, and they're definitely the star of the show for Copenhagen Fashion Week. I feel like all of the street style that I see from there, everybody's wearing this little tiny little thing. It's so cute. And here we see different patterns on there. They just bring me back to like little babies and little children. They're adorable. And of course, because they're covering the ears, they can be quite warm depending on what they're made out of. Like here, if it's knitted, that's probably a good point. Really cool. We've seen them before on the runways. Not sure how long they're gonna stay with us just because they have been here for a while, but I made one for myself and I'll definitely be wearing it this fall winter. Valentino here with the red one, I just love it. And Versace, more of a spiky, dangerous and edgy one. You can see here we're styled with a metal chain press. Okay, next one is the headband, or like an ear muff situation. Not really muff, it's a band that is covering the ears, and we've seen it heavily used Valentino. It was made out of lace. Maybe it had another additional layer. Once again, not sure if they're gonna sell a lot of these or it was just like an element to the show that they almost had the entire show wearing it. If it wasn't that, it was something else that we'll get into, but lots of it. The color that they chose created a little bit of a weird illusion, like most of the models were bold from far away. It's almost like a bold cap, but of course if it's close up, that's enough. But thinking about that, think about like your skin type, your skin color. Is that gonna look like a bold cap on you or not? You know what I mean? Or maybe do, if you like the lace, do that, but then a contrasting color that you can definitely see if it's your hair or if it's your skin color or it's like maybe red or something that's just completely out there and bright. I made a few of just the lace caps. I love wearing them, but for fall winter I feel like that's too cold and that's not gonna help me with anything. We even see like them pairing glasses, putting them on top of it, really interesting. But once again, just like the Dolce & Gabbana with those enormous hats, there are too many of these for me to dedicate half a video to, so let's skip a little bit forward to the next show. Okay, and the one that I wanted to talk about is the balaclava. Here, having the kind of just the face showing. It almost looks like a bonnet, but it's more tighter around the head. Yes. Anyways, here you can see Off-White Valentino, as I mentioned, having this just like a, what can I say? It is like a ski mask with an open face. Really interesting one. It is definitely there for people who are Muslim. They can definitely participate in this trend as all of the hair is covered, more covered kind of a trend. But you can see here they were worn with some really transparent dresses. Yeah, I really liked how they used the face tape on top of it. It's pretty cool. Quite like the stylization. Not sure if we can pull it off in our everyday life, but it does create this nice looking snatched face. They also had the sunglasses on top and everything. And once again, if it wasn't the headband, it was this for them. Courageous had more of this hood thing that had a scarf situation. We also see this in Dolce & Gabbana. Really nice, and I quite like it. Really easy to style and sporty and street style-esque and quite convenient, honestly. Next trend is the vintage type hats. Okay, so Vaquera here, you can see it's more like a little cap with a flower on top. There are several of these on the runways in black and white. Definitely the white brings a little bit more of that vintage flair. We also see D Squared, more of the street style brand, bringing back the vintage cap. I'm not even sure what this would be called, but it's like reminding me of the 20s and mixing them up with more of the Y2K era. It's pretty cool. Miu Miu was a fan of these, you guys. This is the only hat that they had. It was everywhere and it was quite ladylike indeed. And because we do have this ladylike trend going, I feel like this is where it is coming from and this is where it's heading forward. Is this cloche? I have no idea how to pronounce things. Yeah, I guess so. And it came in a variety of colors, mostly the blacks, the grays, the dark blues, but there was a bright red one out there. And since we're not going to see much more from Miu Miu show, let's just skip on over to Valentino. Valentino had more of a pillbox hat. And we see this also in Moschino with a huge M on top. That's a really interesting hat. And they also had more of these little caps with little bows or belts. Really interesting. Still brings me that vintage flair. That's why they're here. Anyways, this is it today. I know that there wasn't so many hats and they're like the biggest trend, but I just love hats and I love wearing them. I feel like they make the little outfit stand out and be very interesting, like this one. I quite like it. Yeah. Anyways, you guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and maybe leave a little hat in the comments down below so I just know that you watched it to the end. Another way you can support me is by sharing it maybe with a hat fanatic. If you want to check out how I try to wear hats in my everyday life, then you can check out my Instagram page where I share my daily outfits if I'm ever not at home editing and I actually go out in the world. Yes. But other than that, I hope you have an amazing rest of the day and yeah, stay classy. Bye.